Sit. Sit and stay. Good girl. Ready? Yeah, I don't know. I'll suck it in. Hey guys, this is Laurie.
And this is Bryony.
And today we're going to get back to one of your questions, which was,
how much weight can I look at losing realistically per week?
And in a healthy way as well.
Can we start?
Yeah, well, it depends.
Yeah.
Same starting point as always.
Because it does depend upon your starting point, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, where are you actually starting in terms of your weight loss?
Yeah.
And we like to look at fat loss generally, but if we're talking about weight loss overall, then we know some may come from muscle, water, fat, but we want to try and hit obviously fat primarily, so we can preserve lean muscle tissue. But generally, so say we have someone who's carrying a lot of body fat, then we can look at, what would we say our ratios are?
I would say anything between 200 and 500 grams per week. So
yeah,
pretty much a kilo per month. Obviously it's going to depend. If we take an example, someone a bit bigger than us, that'd be faster, but because I'm not saying we're lean because we're not, but we have less fat to lose, so it would be slower for us.
Yeah.
And also another example would be if we start dieting for a show at the beginning, we are going, hello.
Bonjour.
See, I'm fucking ADHD. At the beginning of the prep, we are going to lose weight faster than towards the end, because the leaner you get, the harder it is to lose weight.
Yeah. So it would depend on your starting point essentially. But as a safe range, we like to say around 250 to 500 grams per week.
Yeah.
Some weeks might be more, some weeks you might not do anything and it might plateau, and then all of a sudden there's a big drop. There's a few things that you can do to manipulate it, but also it's to continue on doing the process and following through the process, so then you can keep tabs on pretty much like your progress. That's an important factor, isn't it? It's like, just because you're not seeing the weight drop 1 week or day to day doesn't mean it's not doing its thing.
Exactly.
It's all about communication with your coach if you have one, and just like following the process, making sure that you are doing all the things that you should be doing.
And that's why there's a few tools to assess and to see if the fat loss is happening. There's obviously the skin folds that you can do if you have the client in the same area as you, once every 2 weeks. There's also the pictures that you can ask your client to send you on a week-to-week basis in order to keep side to side and compare.
A great way would be to get like a DEXA scan.
That would be the most accurate one.
Yeah.
The negative side with the DEXA scan is that it's quite expensive.
Yeah. But that will take in
best.
account your water, your lean muscle tissue, and your body fat, and so you're pretty much ensuring that you are pulling the weight essentially from the right areas and minimalizing muscle depreciation. Is that right? Muscle depreciation. You know what I mean, muscle loss.
And there's also another way you could measure this. Maybe your gym has a bioscan. The only thing with the bioscan is that it's not the most accurate machine, if that makes sense. If you really want it to work, you would have to make sure that you are doing the scan in the exact same conditions the next time you do it. Like going to the bathroom, have you had a shower, have you had a coffee? And so a lot of things to take in consideration.
That's
if
just
you
like,
want it accurate.
I was just going to say, even if a general check-in, we want to try and keep all those things the same anywho, as close to.
Something else I wanted to add as well is that we are not going to go the same way with every client. Like for example, with some clients, if they handle things pretty well, we can go in a very aggressive way. Obviously, if they have to lose a certain amount of weight within a certain time frame, then we'd be like, okay, we'll go a bit more aggressively, and we are going to look to a 500 grams per week if possible. But if you are experiencing a lot of stress, and if you just are someone that, you know, needs to take it easy, then we are going to go a bit more gently with the calorie deficit that we're creating.
Yeah, you want to start from a good standpoint in terms of your relationship with yourself and your food and behaviors and experience with like tracking and all of that stuff. So that's all the things to take into consideration before you kind of decide which way we're going to, or you decide or we decide which way you're going to go, if you're doing it yourself or if you have a coach, and then we can manipulate as we go. And just because you go super aggressive one time doesn't mean you will be the next. It's a little bit of trial and error, and everyone is individual, and so it's an individual process. But that range between 250 to 500 is kind of like your safe range.
Exactly.
Too much too fast doesn't necessarily, again, it depends on
who you are, what your goal is.
Yeah, like it can be like you could lose quite a lot of weight, but if you're someone who doesn't need to lose a lot of weight, then the likelihood is actually maybe coming from muscle, which is then really hard and expensive, so you want to maintain that.
Exactly. There's actually a lot of people who'd be like, wait, hold on, well, if I diet, I'm going to lose like a kg per week. And then you ask the person, okay, what's your calories at the moment? And they are in such a huge deficit that yes, you are losing a kg per week, but what are you losing?
Yeah.
You're losing muscle as well as fat. So that's why whenever I onboard a new client, sometimes they're like, hold on, that's quite a lot of food. I'm like, yes, because in the process, we want to make sure that what you're losing is the fat, but not the muscle.
Yeah.
So good rate, no need to go too fast because that's not going to serve you on the long term either.
But if you're doing it in a short span, so say you're doing it like six weeks or so,
yeah,
you can get in, get out. Like then you maybe could go aggressive. It's like
exactly
the idea of a diet phase is it's a phase of dieting and not one to living.
Exactly.
And
it's
get
not
in, get out.
a comfortable phase to live in whatsoever.
What do you mean? I thought we loved dieting.
And that's why it's super interesting when you think about it. It is a phase, and it's really important to stay within a range because yes, you want to be aggressive, but once again, you want to minimize the loss of muscle. You can play around within that range.
Yeah. Summarize, done. That was it.
Exactly. I hope I press play. Imagine.
Are you crawling?
Oh, I pressed play.
You did.